Listen, here, Ghana is golden. And in this real estate series, we are covering everything you need to know about real estate with our luxury real estate agent,
Anna Arkutu.
Listen, I told you that this is a real estate series you do not want to miss. And today I am here with the luxury real estate development specialist, Anna. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you, Tim. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I love your videos. Can't get over it. Your channel is great. I think that the perspective you give to others who are like you, that first-hand perspective you give is really great. So please keep it going. And it's an honor to be here today to share with your audience.
Well, thank you. Listen, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you what your favorite video is. Skip over that part.
This video is.
Okay, well, all right, I got it. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. So listen, this is all about real estate development, and some of the conversations we had off camera, it made me say, listen, I have to get you on camera because I love what you're doing, but I love the elevated perspective that you have about investing, about residential, and about all phases of real estate. One of the most important questions that I get asked is, how do you determine a good investment in Ghana? So that's the question I want to pose for you.
Okay, great. I'm excited. There's a lot more interest in Ghana lately, and we love what's happening. So definitely, how do you determine a good investment is really to be observant and to study the market. What's happening in Ghana? So you invest to get something out of it, returns, right? So you want to look at areas that are vibrant, that people are saying, I want to be there. So I'll start off with Prime Accra, which is mainly the airport residential area, cantonments, East Legon. Most people that come in, especially Afrochella being so famous, people will say, I want to be close to where Afrochella is happening. And this is cantonment. I want to be close to the airports, right? So you go to these areas that people are asking to stay in, and then you look at what's on the market, right? Now you get in there, you ask all the right questions, and then you get the answers on what you can make of it to make sure that, okay, this is worth investing in.
So we look at the location. Right, we know that's, I think that's universal, right? Location,
yes. Location, yes.
And so if you're talking about location, then we have to look at, right, the other areas that are important to consider when making a real estate investment in Ghana. So what are some of those other areas that's important for someone?
Okay, great. I'm glad you asked that question. So we talked about the prime Accra areas. Now, speaking of prime, you want to look at the upcoming areas. This is for the discerning real estate investor, right? You know that these areas that started, for example, areas like East Legon and Jowolu, the prices that you have today were not the same yesterday. They've come up, right? So you want to look at like what is the gravitational shift? Where are people going to now? So now you have a lot of developments and people investing in East Legon Hills or Yarefat. These are upcoming areas. So a 3-bedroom townhouse you could find there, let's say at $350,000.
Which area? Which area?
East Legon Hills.
Okay.
East Legon Hills or Yarefat. So a 3-bedroom townhouse, you can find it at $350,000, or in Ghana cedis is 3.5 million Ghana cedis. Yes. We'll come to talk about these your concerns, right? We'll come to talk about these your concerns. Yeah. When you go to the prime areas, those are about double the price. So let's say 7 million Ghana cedis versus 3.5 million Ghana cedis. Now you want to be investing in those areas now, right? Because now everybody's going there to live there. Schools will start going there. Amenities will start going there. And then this is how development happens worldwide.
Yes.
And then prices will start to go up. And then you would have gotten in. Because imagine how those who are in airport now and body years ago are feeling. They're making fantastic returns. So the upcoming areas, and just as an example, is East Legon Hills and Oyarefa. Which is about a 20 to 30 minute drive from the main parts of Accra. The roads have been done very well. The roads are really good up to those areas. But when you get into the areas, the internal networks, because it's an upcoming area, the internal networks and roads are not yet necessarily done. But getting there, you're good. So those are areas you should consider investing, because people are starting to say, okay, I want to live here because Prime Accra is Prime Accra, and I want to get into a space that's more within my range. And then you put your money there. In the next 5 or 10 years, you see that you would have doubled. So that's the second one. So you have Prime Accra, you have the upcoming areas. I would say another good investment is waterfront or beachfront lands, or what I call holiday investments. So you have a lot of people coming to Ghana for holidays. We've seen tourism boom fantastically, especially with the help of the Year of Return, which has been great. So most people come, they're like, hey, I'm in the tropical area. I want to enjoy the beachfronts, right? In Accra, most of the properties we have beachfront are commercial. So unless it's a hotel like Labadi Beach Hotel, we don't have a lot of these holiday, single home holiday beachfront. So you want to look at the beachfronts in other parts. And the perfect place is the central region. Now, 90% of tourists head to the central region. Like that tells a story. That tells a story to the discerning real estate investor. You have to see where people are going, what's happening there. People keep going to see what's happening, like to honor the trade routes and all of that. And there are not a lot of hotels or these nice homes they can stay in. If you are able to get some good beachfront properties in these areas, people can say, oh yeah, while I'm going there, I would rather stay here than go and come so I can enjoy a bit more of this city. We have, for example, even my company has listed 1 acre beachfront land at 600,000 Ghana cedis or $60,000 for the sake of the international market for 1 acre.
At what location?
This is in the central region, okay, like on the Cape Coast route, right? And that same beachfront property, 1 acre in Accra, is about 20 million Ghana cedis, right? Or $2 million. So you have to have that perspective that this is now a very well-traveled route. This is where people are going. I mean, scores of tourists, I mean, hundreds, thousands are going that way. There's not many good places to stay or eat on during the route. So if you put your investment there and you start to build there, people say, oh, that's great that this is here. Why don't we go spend 2 days? We would love to feel more of this city than just an in and out, right?
Yeah.
So if you have an investment there, you're going to do well and it's going to multiply very soon because the minute you start, a lot more people are going to do that and then the area will start to come up. So that's another one.
So we talked about location. We mentioned a few other points that I want you to speak to when considering how to determine a good investment, particularly in real estate income.
Yeah.
You mentioned something around you have to know your rate of return, and also you have to understand the quality, how to determine quality. Can you speak to that first one right now, the rate of return?
The rate of return, yeah, okay. So returns, I mean, when you're making an investment, it's all about what you are making out of it. And worldwide, people not generally 7% is good, right? If you have a 7% return on investment. In Ghana, especially in the prime areas, you're buying a property at, let's say, $300,000, right? And that property generally rents at about $3,000 a month. So when you do your calculation, you can see that this is definitely between the 7, even up to 10. And when you buy studios, because studios are so much in demand, some even go up to 11, 12, 18, depending on the peak.
Masa, let me take 5
I'm telling you, let's go get it. Let's go get it. So even 18, especially in the peak, because we're in the market, we know that this happens. Now, you always want to ask those questions. When you're going to invest, I'm very big on telling my clients we need to do the due diligence. We need to ask all the right questions. So you ask those you're buying from, what is your projected rental? Can you prove that indeed this is what is being rented here? Go and call another development in that area, like you're inquiring for rent. How much is this renting for, right? And then you have that information, you know that, okay, if I'm making my 7 to 10% or more, this is a good one, right? Now, I'm also particular about being very intentional because some people will say, oh yeah, but there's a whole lot of apartments that maybe they find that are on the market, right? Yeah. You want to be very intentional about where you invest. Like this is some of the issues that people are investing from without being in the country face that we as real estate agents can help them with, right? Because if wherever you're investing, you call someone, you see it online, you call them, you don't know what's happening around it. You've not been to see it. It's probably not well situated. You want to make sure that it's in a good location, it's vibrant, it has the right amenities, the quality is good. And even sometimes you want to make sure that there's not too many of the same type of apartment you're buying. So if, for example, you're buying a place and it's about 50 studios, that's much more competition for you, right? Yeah. So you want to look, okay, this has 10 studios. So if someone likes this area, then I'm more likely to get more people. So these are the things, the kind of questions that we encourage you to ask. And in my company and myself, we ask on your behalf some of the questions you don't think about because we've been in the industry and we see what's happening. Asking these questions can really help you to make a good investment, you know, a long-term one.
So location, what is my rate of return based on those factors that you mentioned? And the other one I want to touch on is you talked about quality, and I haven't heard that talked about as much. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. Quality is key. And quality is something that shouldn't be taken for granted. When you don't buy into quality, your investment is more expensive, right? So you come to, we'll use Accra, prime Accra, because we are here, and you are going to buy a property and they say it's 2 million Ghana cedis, or as I like to peg with $1, $200,000. and then you go and buy it, okay? If you're not checking the quality, even if they say, look, this is off plan, you want to find out what have you built before? I want to see it, right? You go and check the quality of their work. Because if the finishings, the fittings, their work is not good, number one, it will not be attractive to that discerning tenant who's going to pay the $2,000 or 20,000 cedis a month to match it. And number two, they get spoiled faster and you are spending more money. So what I advise is that always make sure that even if you're not in Ghana, as you have a real estate agent, let them go check, especially one you trust, because some of them may just say what you want to hear, but one you trust, to go and look at it, take videos, pictures, and you say, look, I think this is good, right? For example, because I've been in the industry for so long, I started from Bellagio, Transaco Valley, very high end. When I walk into a property, I can tell straight away, like the doors, these doors are not solid enough. The counters.
Yeah, so tell me, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Those
that's
things
okay.
you're looking for, the doors. What else?
The doors, the countertops, you know, hitting it to check. If you're buying in a prime area, you should get solid, you know, the fittings, like the taps, the tiles. Even sometimes there's a certain smell, right? Yeah, even for me, that's something I've noticed, that some of the paints being used, like that's something I was like, oh, how am I able to tell the difference, that there's a certain smell? So these are things that when you pay attention to, because every investment is important. For me, it's not about whether it's $50,000 or $1 million. To each person making an investment, that's huge. And it's so important to me that as much as I can, and with all the knowledge, is to say, look, let's look at all these things to make sure that you are doing a good investment, right? So one thing we always do is the pros and cons. Now, if you go to a developer, and you cannot blame them for them, it's their baby. Their development is the best in town, right? So, and this is how agents help, like myself, we help. We will be able to give you pros and cons on each side. We have 5 developments, and I'll say, look, these are the pros of these 5. These are the cons. You've now been armed with information to make that decision. You get what I mean? It's like, okay, now I know all of this, but I'm still my guts. Because I always tell the investor, it's your money. So we never make the decision. Your money, your wisdom, you got that money, so it will guide you. You know what to do with it. So after you've been given that information, you can now make that discerning decision to get a good investment, if you get what I mean.
So listen, we got to bring you back for more, because I mean, I don't think there's enough time to put everything in this video, but from what I remember you saying, right, the most important things that we need to consider if we're thinking about an investment in Ghana is location. What is my rate of return based on those other factors? Quality. And really, you have to have, you didn't say this, but I heard you say this, which is you need a network of people that you trust, who understand the market, who can assist you in their process.
Very much
we're
so.
going to bring you back.
Awesome. I'll be so happy to be back.
Listen, I know you guys,
amazing.
Yes, I know you guys enjoyed this content, and I know that you're looking forward to hearing more. So as always, listen, do me a favor. If you love this, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. And remember, all of our contact is right there in the description, right there below. Keep scrolling, boom. There it is, it's right there. All right, so until next time, peace.
This video was shot at the Oasis Park Residences, where we are now, built by CPL Developers. And we wanted to say a big thank you for the partnership and support. Right, Tim?
Real estate in Ghana.
Very nice.